Hello Gemini, how are you friends? I am here to do a reading for you. Happy birthday, by the way. I hope you're having a really lovely Gemini season. If you've already had your birthday, happy birthday. And if you haven't yet and it's coming up, let me know when it is in the comments. I'm here with this one oracle deck, and we're going to use this psychic tarot to start your reading. We're going to move into some tarot, and we're asking 3 specific questions for the month of June. That's what we're reading for. And so the first one is, what is shifting in June for you? And because we just have a full moon coming up, right, on the 31st in Sagittarius. And then what needs your attention the most in June? And then what are you making room for? What's arriving, my friend? Let's find out what's going on for you. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Don't forget, private reads are open. Please check the pinned comment for that. Let's find out what's going on for Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. What is shifting in June? Well, look at that. You're going to be standing your ground on something, friend. It feels like you're standing up for yourself. And look, I know a lot of Geminis, and Geminis aren't shy. Usually say what they're going to say. But it feels like now you're standing on business. It feels like you've allowed something to go on for too long. And it might be in favor of not wanting to be disrespectful, or not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting someone to get angry with you for taking another point of view. But I think now this has gone a little bit far, and it's time for you to just stand up, stand your ground, my friend. We want to talk about what should you have your attention on the most. Oh boy, big change. So look, when you stand up for yourself and you finally just say it, put your foot down, put your boundaries in place and say, I've got the data. I know what's going on here. I am not going to change my mind. And now you get to deal with the fallout. Destiny is here. You're changing how you deal with people. Look, Uranus is in your sign along with all kinds of other planets that are partying in your sign. But, you know, it's a time of change for you. And I feel like it's a time of not... of maybe seeing the point of view of something else, seeing it from a different direction, not necessarily feeling like stubborn and not changing your mind. That's not what I'm saying. But, you know, Uranus is quick change, upheaval, and I feel like the upheaval comes from the mind, right? Because you are someone who is very air-based, right? Being ruled by Mercury. So I feel like your mind is going to change. I feel like you're going to see a different side of something, and it feels like you're going to realize, it's also about realizations, you're going to realize that the upheaval in the mind is, how did I let that go on for so long? That's what it feels like. Destiny is showing up. Things are expanding quickly here, and it feels like karma's at play. So whatever is going on here feels like you're taking charge of something here. Tell me, what are you making room for? What's arriving in June for you, Gemini? We've got a firm foundation. I do think that you doing this makes things a little more solid here. It does feel exciting. It feels like you are conquering mountains, like conquering things that maybe looked like they were bigger than they were. It feels like you're finally feeling a little more settled and stable, and maybe it's time to celebrate just a little bit, because this change you're realizing is really bringing good results, making you feel more stable and happy for standing your ground. We've got solitude. It does feel like you have probably gone over what you're going to say ad nauseum. You've probably gone over and over and over something that you are going to say to make sure that you get your point across in the shortest amount of time, and that you are not using too many words. The solitude card is the Hermit. And so it feels like you've really got all the points of view, all the analytics. I've gone over this. I know what I'm about to say is true. And I feel like you're just going to say it. You're going to stand up for yourself on some point. Let's look at tarot. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Let's talk about you, Gemini. Talking about June. Let's talk about how you are going to stand your ground, and possibly why or what is happening for you to stand your ground. Tell me about Gemini. We've got the 6 of Cups. Ooh, you know what I just got? I got this energy ping. Somebody that you know really well has been taking advantage of your kindness. It feels like somebody that you know really well. You want to keep this relationship, friendship. You want to keep the dynamic in the family. But it feels like this is going a little far now. Feels like you give an inch, they take a mile. That's what it feels like. We've got the Three of Cups, and it feels like you are going to be seeing them in the month of June. There's going to be some sort of celebration in your family, in your friend group, in your life. And I feel like this situation is going to arise at that time. Now, I feel like you are happy to go for the celebration. You'll be reunited with someone you've known since you were a child, or maybe in a last life, but it feels like somebody that you know really well, a soulmate friend, family member. Maybe it's somebody that you dated back there, but it feels like you're different this time. This time it's different. You're going to have better boundaries. You're just going to stand up for yourself. We do have the Ace of Swords. Yep, you're doing it with words, friend. You're doing it with truth, words, clarity. I'm just going to tell you exactly what I think. It feels like you're not tiptoeing anymore. And if I'm being honest, I mean, it's different for every Gemini because you all have different moon and rising signs. But I'm going to say in general, this is a very general comment, that, you know, you're very articulate. You're very smart. I love a Gemini. Look, I'm a Taurus, and Gemini is my 7th house, which is my soulmate house. And so when I meet friends who are Geminis, I just love them. I eat up their brain. Like, not literally, I'm not accountable. But the Ace of Swords is here. And so I feel like your strength is saying what you need to say. Oh, and let the words fall out. I want to see you be brave. That's Sarah Bareilles, a song, right? It's like you've had a history of silence, she says in that song, but it never did you any good. Would you think it would? And I think that the reason that you don't stand up for yourself verbally is because there is a history of silence with you and trying to keep this boat afloat. It feels like you really don't want to argue or fight, but you know this person enough that when you stand your ground, they're probably going to have something to say and you want to keep it light. This could definitely be someone from your past that you haven't seen in a very long time. But this is somebody, look, the Two of Cups isn't always romantic, but for you it could be if that's your lens today. The Two of Cups is really about we shared a lot of intimate things emotionally. So this is someone who really knows what buttons to push. It feels like there is two people here who have shared a lot together, and I think that they might either be reappearing or you know they're going to be there, but either, you know, no matter what the situation, it feels like you have a long history with them, a nostalgic history. So it feels like this person is somebody you have deepened a bond with, and I feel like it's time for you to just say what you want to say, because I feel like this person plays on your emotions, pushes those buttons. All right, so let's talk about what you need to have your attention on most. And I think that, excuse me, that somebody here may or may not be happy with this Wheel of Fortune showing up. Destiny is here, and I feel like this is telling you that this is a new chapter of your life. And for the next 7 or 8 years, you are going to be going through many changes, upheavals, changing of mind, also having big, bold ideas. Uranus isn't the only planet that's going to be transiting your sign through the 7 or 8 years that it's there. But I feel like this Destiny card definitely tells me that something is showing up that is changing the way you think, the way you see something, changing something in your life because it's expanding. It's getting bigger or wider, or you see it from a larger point of view. It might be why somebody hurt you, why somebody disappointed you or broke your heart. It feels like you're seeing it from a broader viewpoint. You're seeing it from the top down rather than just looking at it straight on here. Yeah, this is the Six of Swords. And we've got the Hierophant. So for some of you, this definitely could be an old relationship or an old commitment. It could be an old commitment to corporation. It could be maybe your boss shows up. You know, it feels like it's somebody who you've had awkward moments with, but maybe you are not interested in seeing them. Maybe you even avoid them because you know that if they do show up, you're just going to have to say it as it is and they're not going to like it. The Six of Swords tells me that you have changed or will change in June in a way that you are more interested in keeping your own peace than winning a fight or an argument. It feels like with this Six of Swords, it tells me that, yeah, I'm looking into the past a little bit here, but I'm also looking forward to moving into the future where it's calmer. So while I think that sometimes in the past, maybe you've done the right fight. I mean, you've got a lot of data. You usually come with truth and honesty, right? And even if people don't agree with your point of view, you're still going to bring your point of view. But it feels like the Six of Swords tells me I'm just more interested in saving my nervous system than I am about standing on a point. Although, look, this Hierophant energy is here. You know, I'm an energy reader, and I'm also a Taurus, and I can tell you that this can be a very obstinate point of view, that you might be dealing with someone who's not willing to change their mind, even if you bring them enough data. So I feel like there is probably a relationship here, a long-term steady commitment to either work or friendship or family. And I feel like you are out of the chaos part of it, but I feel like this person did offend you, did hurt you, did let you down, but I think you're showing up very changed. That you're showing up with a change of mind or a little more flexibility in the mind. We've got the Eight of Swords. You might find out ahead of time that somebody here is showing up at a big gala or a wedding or someplace that you're going publicly. You might find out that they're going to be there. And the Eight of Swords is telling me you feel some kind of way about that, because it puts you directly up in your head, where you put yourself in this prison of the mind, thinking it over and over and over again. It feels like it's almost a bit of a worry, because I feel that you're making really great strides, really great changes, but all of a sudden you're in your head, but are they going to accept me for all the changes that I've made? It feels like with the Hierophant energy, maybe when you get there and you see them, maybe you don't care. But I think that the Eight of Swords tells me that you either overthink it all the way there, or that you are worried that you might say something that will offend someone. Because you can see that you should always look at the way the card is, right? And we've got 5 swords around the circle and 3 in the quiver. So it feels like here this could end up in an argument or a fight, because I'm remembering the last time I saw you, 3 of Swords was present. So it does feel like you might be meeting up with somebody, whether that's by chance or by planning. And you might even know that they're here, but I think you have a long history with someone that you're finally going to be able to say what you wanted to say. You know, the getting into an argument with somebody, you're like, oh, I should have said that. I think you're going to say that. That's what it feels like. Okay, so what are you making room for? Oh, look at this. Justice just fell out. I like that, because the firm foundation is here. Look, I really feel like this is a new day for you. It feels like, although it feels like you're more in this spiritual side, where you don't really feel the need to I'm going to say stir the pot. And I'm not calling you a pot stirrer, but you know what I mean? I feel like you've changed your mind in the way that harmony, being in balance, that's the most important thing to you. Stability, security, being in a happy sort of atmosphere. You know, everybody has their obstacles, and I feel like one of your obstacles over a long period of time has been keeping consistent happiness. Because when you're highly intelligent, sometimes you can overthink things and it gives you a bit of grief, right? Because you tend to see things that maybe aren't there. I feel like justice tells me that when this situation arises, I feel like you come out feeling so balanced, so much in harmony, like I finally got my justice. I finally said what I needed to say, and I said it in the calmest, most stable sort of way, and I felt like I would never overcome this obstacle. See, I love that. Temperance is also balance. It feels like no more high highs and low lows. It feels like now we're finally in balance. I'm feeling a little more healed, harmonious, feeling like I'm getting my justice. And I feel like by the end of the month, you're feeling like there's been some sort of huge change. You're more balanced in solitude. You probably really enjoy your own company. We've got the star energy, all about healing, right? Temperance is about a moment of alchemy. And it's like you go from this place of, oh crap, I got to deal with this person again. Well, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. But I think that when you do, they see you for someone different than you used to be, because you've changed. And I feel like they actually see you as someone who is healed, someone who's hopeful, someone who's being vulnerable. And I feel like they see you as someone who is really delivering in a way of Libra, which is diplomatic and harmonious. I don't really want to argue with you, but I'm not letting you get away with that anymore either. One more card. We've got the Page of Wands. I like that. I'm going to say that you are not predicting this. This seems like something that's going to happen that's quite unpredictable, but I think it's going to be pretty exciting when it does happen. You know what it feels like? That you've been in solitude for a while and you just aren't dealing with people anymore, and you don't realize how much you've changed in the solitude, that you've actually found your light. And because you possibly are not dealing with a lot of people, maybe just one here and there, you're not going into groups of things. I think you're kind of forced to go into a group of people where you see that one person that used to just, but I feel like you deal with them in a totally different way than you used to. They're going to recognize it, and people are going to be like, wow, really? Material and spiritual prosperity is what you are finding in solitude. People are going to notice that you're different. I really love that. Okay, we're going to go into the extended. We're going to talk about what is the situation. Why do you have to stand your ground? Why do you have to say what you're going to say? Because this feels like somebody probably like hurt you, stabbed you in the back. I feel like you've learned from that experience and you've really changed the way you see it. Not because you feel something for them, but because you feel it for yourself. You have more respect for yourself. You don't want to light up your nervous system like a Christmas tree over something that somebody did in the past, but now you're not scared to speak your mind. And although I don't think you were scared to speak your mind, I think you're speaking it differently now. So I think that there is a really big change coming for you in June. And it feels like when you get into situations that are possibly unpredictable, it feels like you automatically flip into, because you've got duality, right? You automatically flip into this energy of, oh, well, maybe if I go in with this energy of being healed, being in harmony, feeling vulnerable, that people seem to respond to that a little more. So I think there's some big changes coming up for you in June, and we're going to talk more about that in the extended. If you want to come in the extended, I'm going to clarify all of this. We'll talk more about this. And we should look at the bottom here. Oh, look at that. You are going to get an invitation. It feels like an invitation. It's really going to, I feel like you think you have to go in there stoic without showing anybody any emotion, but I feel like when you get there, this is what you feel. It does feel like a social environment, though. If you're interested in coming into the extended, then please go into the pinned comment, which is at the top of all the comments. There's 2 links there, one for the membership for the extended and one for private reads. If any of this is something that might be going on with you and you need some advice, then come over to Hypsee and we'll talk about it. All right, and I'm caught up right now, so now would be a great time. You wouldn't have to wait too long to get your reading back. I'm going to put down 3 cards. We're going to go into the extended. These 3 cards could usually end up being an outcome or advice going forward. We'll talk more about these 3 cards in the extended. We've got the 5 of Cups. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. This was a hard growth spurt. I really do feel that you've outgrown any animosities, any regrets, any sadness. I feel like you've outgrown it. It feels like here you've done a lot of work on the self, whether you realized you did or not, and you may not realize how much you've changed. But people who haven't seen you in a while are going to see the growth within you here. One more card. And we have the 4 of Pentacles. I think some of them you're just gonna hold back and ignore. I think you're just going to be shut off, shut down. You're going to hold back. Maybe you might catch somebody in a lie, but you're just going to let it go. I feel like you're really doing that to serve yourself and not to serve them. You are very much in balance. People are going to see you as somebody who really is balanced your the way you speak and the information that you know. And even when somebody's speaking out their ass, I don't think you're bothered, honestly. You're just going to let them say what they're going to say, or you'll say it a different way. We're going to go to the extended. If you want to be there, you know how to get there. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Happy birthday, friends. See you in the extended if you ended up being there. Bye-bye.